dominant game. I mean, both teams talked about that, but when you play like you guys did tonight, can you take anything from this, or did you guys just play so poorly that you kind of throw it out a little bit?
No, I don't think you throw it out. I think you own it, and I think a couple things. I think you know, I think our guys have worked really hard, up to this point to be where we are in the standings, and I think with that there's even a greater responsibility. And maybe outside of DeMar, I don't know if anybody else on our team has been in the standings where we are right now. And, we obviously had a really, really hard fought game in Brooklyn early in December. And, we ended up kind of having a huge fourth quarter here, I think the first time we played them. So, Kyrie's won a championship. Harden's been deep in the playoffs. Kevin's won several championships. And you know what? Like, those guys were going to come back, and obviously their team's getting whole. And this was a team that I thought was, was the aggressor tonight. And we have to understand and learn. This is some of the things I've been talking about from a defensive standpoint. And there was a lot of things tonight. So much like all putting it on the defense, but the hardest thing to do late in the season, or if you want to play late, in playoffs and things like that. And obviously we've got to earn our way every day. Easy baskets are the most valuable thing that you can get. And our transition defense gave up easy baskets. We gave up transition threes, layups, second chance points. We fouled. Those are the easiest points you can give. And we had to fight for all of our points. And I'm not saying that the Nets didn't earn any of it, because I think they clearly outplayed us tonight. That's evident by the score. But there's a lot of things that go into, playing a team like this with where we are right now. And I think this can be something that can be good for our guys. I'm hopeful, because it is only one game, whether you lost by one or what we did by 30 something. We have got to be in a situation to understand that every transition possession is important. Every missed shot is critical. The level of discipline of not fouling. I mean, we fouled 3-point shooters, jump shooters quite a bit tonight. And I'm not saying that's why we lost the game. There was a lot of variables there. But even late in the game, when they were up by, 25 or 30, two of their guys dove on the floor, and one of them was Blake Griffin. Like, there's just, you could just tell they were coming in here and there was a mentality that they had. And I'm not saying that we didn't want to win the game, but we've got to understand how to play in games like this. And like I said, maybe outside of DeMar, this could be this is newer for everybody. And we've got to be able to, accept that responsibility, to learn and grow through this experience so that we can be a better team from it. Because clearly, I think everybody, maybe before the season started, with Kyrie being with their team, had Brooklyn, maybe being the best team in the East. Well, next night we got maybe the best team in the West coming in here. And this is good for us because there's a lot of teams that are whole now. And a lot of times within the schedule, teams haven't been whole. And I know we're not whole, but I think there's things that we can do at a higher level, regardless of wins or losses, that we can do, that we have control over. And that was my whole point when people talk about Javante and talk about maybe Alex, and I don't know where Derek's situation is right now. That's got nothing to do with running back in transition, blocking out, fouling. There's nothing to do with those guys. And every guy on our team, we've got to get much, much better at those things.
The way you're talking, it seems like you felt like something like this could be coming almost in a way.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to act like I'm, projecting or forecasting the future. I will say that just being in playoff situations, and I was really, really fortunate and blessed to walk into a situation in Oklahoma City that, my first year we were in the Western Conference Finals. I got a real taste of that, and then the last few years, not getting out of the first round, but seeing what that's like. And, I think that the best way I think for teams to learn is going through experiences. As much as a coach, you should try to explain and see. And like DeMar's been like terrific because he's obviously had some really deep playoff runs. So, he's talked about it a little bit. And listen, we have to earn our way to be able to play in the post. We have to earn everything. And it's interesting to me because I think that when the season started, a lot of people didn't know what our team would look like. And I didn't know either, but just because our team was so new, and these guys gelled and meshed and did a really, really good job. And I just love the responsibility that comes with where we're at right now. And we have to understand what we're going to be getting from other teams. And I don't know if I would say it was coming, but some of the things I've been talking about for the last 8 to 10, 12 games, you can see when you get into certain situations, you're not going to be able to get away with that. There's certain things that we got away with offensively in some games that, we weren't able to get away with tonight. There was things that we were able to get away within transition. I think that like the Detroit game last night, I'm looking at the game. They generated an enormous amount of corner threes against us. The ball just didn't go in the basket, and sometimes that's hard to get a barometer. I mean, these guys have been great. They've worked incredibly hard. They've done a great job. And I think I said this before the game. My whole focus is we have to get better. We have to get better. And I'm hopeful that every experience, competitive experience, whether it's Detroit or whether it's Brooklyn, we continue to get better. And it's a great group of guys. And like I said, it's the first time they're all playing together. We're down some people just like everybody else, but we got to keep getting better.
Specifically in that third quarter, what did you think catalyzed the snowball effect that eventually seemed to take effect? And what did you see from your guys as that was?
Well, listen, I mean, Kevin was a really, really hard matchup for tonight, size-wise. I thought we fouled him a couple times. James got going a little bit in the third quarter, making shots. I thought their shot making in the game in the third quarter in relation to us missing shots, like we still got to be able to grind. And I thought some of the things with the fouling, if we put them to the free throw line, but they also made some shots too. And like, listen, we just were not going to put anybody on an island with Kevin. Especially when DJ went out, we were so small at that position to put somebody at that spot, the elbow or the low block or mid post area. He's just going to play over top of us. And, we had to go down there and get him. And we were in some scramble situations. We gave up some threes. That is going to happen. But I think there was other things that compounded that. We had some turnovers in the third quarter. We struggled, I think, to score in that third quarter. They were scoring. And I think it became a little bit of a snowball effect.
Billy, the issues that you mentioned specifically defensively, are they issues of effort, focus, attention to detail, consistency? Because when you guys are doing it well, it looks great. But there are other times when it doesn't. What are you pinpointing in those moments when it doesn't look great?
Like I said, Darnell, I think what I'm pinpointing is I definitely don't think it's effort. Our guys give effort and they're completely pros when it comes to that. I think there's a consistency and a discipline area that we've got to get better, at. And it's like, last night against Detroit, we're contesting some shots and we're leaking out and, they get the ball back and they score but you're up 12 or 14. Okay. We're okay. We're okay. So I think it's really more of a concentration, discipline, focus. I don't think it's effort. Our guys really, really compete and give effort. But I think it's like the little things that you see and maybe, for us, it's taking those moments and just understanding. And I'm hoping there's like a connection, because like, listen, we fouled them. I think we put them to the free throw line in the first quarter 12 times. I think they had 17 free throws or 15 or 17 free throws in the first half. That's a 30. I mean, those are easy baskets. We lost Mills a couple times in transition. We let him get going. You got a guy like James Harden, who's an elite offensive player. The last thing you want to do is let him go up there and take 6 free throws for target practice because we fouled him on jump shots. Like those are the kind of areas we got to get better at. And that's really the later you get against these better, the really, really good teams, that's generally the margins. It's a basket here. It's a foul here. It's a free throw here. It's a missed opportunity here. And, you can't waste possessions. And, You know, for us, I think that they came in incredibly focused tonight and they were ready to play. And, you know, I thought that, you know, listen, with Kyrie and Kevin and James, they're all have the ability to kind of do it on their own in space, and they're hard to guard. But I think that we've got to but we've got to play in a way that we're eliminating some of the easier stuff because I don't know what the number was at halftime, but if you look at free throws, transition points and fouls and transition and offensive rebounding, just add those points together. Like, to me, that's stuff we got control over. I'm not sitting there saying we'd have the lead, and I'm not saying we would have won tonight, but those are things that you have control. We don't really have control with Kevin Durant, like 1-2 dribble, pulling up and we're contesting. Like, you know, James, same, like those guys are great players. But the things that we have control over, we have to have more discipline and focus and attention to detail on. And it's not effort. It's just understanding that that's the kind of stuff that can kind of come back and bite you. Sure.
You might be without Derrick Jones for a while.
Yeah.
The way he walked off. What'd you think of Alfonso McKinney in there? I mean, he looks at times like he's decisive, makes decisive plays.
Yeah, I you know, to be honest, Darnell, he was in a tough spot tonight. It wasn't only defensively. He's really not played a lot of 4 for us. And I think that, you know, I tried to help him in the game and at halftime a little bit with some things. You know, he was aggressive, but we got a little bit bogged down on some possessions because, you know, I probably had him in some spots that, you know, he wasn't really fully ready for. And with Javonte being out and Alex being out and Derek going down tonight, we were kind of all over the place on some matchups because of their personnel. So offensively, I probably put him in some situations. I actually thought he played an aggressive third quarter. He made a couple shots, get a couple offensive rebounds. He did some good things. I think he's going to probably have to learn how to play at that spot with the rest of the group, which has maybe been a little bit different than what he's been doing since he's been with us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.